So we just had this remarkable interview with the man that spent 31 years in prison. 31 years, the longest serving inmate in the United States for a nonviolent marijuana offense. 31 years. Now that's a tragedy. But Soleiman Faqiri in Canada never got to leave prison. For 11 days he was arrested and he was in the Central East Correctional Facility in Lindsay, Ontario in 2016. And on December 15th, this very day, in 2016, 30-year-old Soli Faqiri died. Well, did he die or was he killed? Well, you tell me. And I've been covering this story for 4 years. He had mental health issues. He was a schizophrenic. He was in that prison. The guards knew he was. But the autopsy report, when it finally came out, showed that he had 50 signs of blunt impact trauma. 50 signs. Cuts on his face. Deep cuts. Bruises all over. There is video of guards putting a spit hood over him, pepper spraying him, shackling him, dragging him out of the camera's view where he died. No charges. No charges have been laid. A new motion has been filed just last week as a part of a $14 million lawsuit against the Ontario Ministry of Community Safety and Correctional Services. And there's new developments in this case. And, you know, we've been covering this for so long, and I want to welcome back Soli Faqiri's brother, Yusuf. Yusuf has been the advocate to try to get justice in the death of his brother, as that family has never, ever got an opportunity to have any justice at all. And Yusuf, welcome back to our program, sir.
Great to be back, Kevin. Thank you for having me, sir.
Just remind people about your brother. Before we get to the latest, I want people to realize there's a human being here. What happened to Soli?
Evan, he was taken from us 4 years ago to the day in the most inhumane way. He was supposed to be transferred to a hospital 3 days before his death. He was a beautiful man. He was multilingual. He spoke 3 languages. He was quite special in so many ways. He was loved by my family, but it seems like, Evan, the government continues to be interested in giving my family a nightmare rather than giving us our closure, sir. And it's fitting talking to you 4 years to the day, Evan. It's been a horrible 4 years, Evan.
It's been a horrible 4 years. When he was put in this correctional facility, first of all, he was, what have you learned what happened to him on 4 years ago today, if you can? And by the way, folks, the information about what happened to Soli, they have fought for 4 years to get a picture of it, and it is a brutal picture of what happened to your brother.
Evan, we now have confirmation that the government's own people are admitting that they made mistakes. The government's own people, Evan, are saying that they did not follow the ministry's policies.
He was in, talk about, I want people to know, because when they were escorting him from the shower, and this he was shackled from his hands and his legs, and yet he seemed to be beaten, as you say, with 50 blunt force trauma wounds. What happened, and what does the video show?
Yeah, so there's the 50 bruises, Evan, but then according to one of the sergeants, one of the managers that got fired that was there in that scene, they put a spit hood on him, Evan. They put him on his stomach down. They pepper sprayed him. And basically, in the whole manual of the spit hood that says you're not supposed to put someone stomach down, their face down, and pepper spray, because it would cause their airspace to be shortened and effectively causing asphyxia. This is actually coming from the guard herself, Evan. They broke their own ministry's policy, and in the manual it says that doing these things will lead to could lead to someone asphyxiating and dying, Evan. And now the government's own people are admitting that they did this, Evan.
So let's talk about this. This is one of the jail managers. 2 of them were fired after your brother's death. One of them was named Dawn Rossell. Tell us what her encounter with your brother was like, and why she was fired, and now what she's saying.
Basically, Evan, she said that them putting Soli in a spit hood and face down and pepper spraying him was called a triple threat, and that you're not supposed to do this. She called it a triple threat of asphyxia, meaning that if you do this, someone will suffocate to death. They can suffocate to death from their own vomit, and that's what she claimed, Evan. So I don't know why there's a mystery, Evan, why people are wondering how Soleiman died. It's quite clear, and Ms. Rosal explains it. And what's so tragic, sir, and what's so difficult is that for 4 years, the government continues to deny their wrongdoing and what they did to my late brother. And these new revelations should alarm every single person in our country, because this is Canada. This is something you do not expect to happen to someone who's suffering from mental illness. And what's even more tragic is that 9 of the 11 guards that are involved in Soli's beating death are still employees of the Ontario government. So I'm just quite shocked, sir.
Yeah, 11 guards were involved. The reason why they say there's no charges is they said that we can't figure out who might have delivered quote, the fatal blows. But this woman, Ms. Rosal, who one of the two people fired, she was there. She said she arrived while he was face down in the cell with his hands handcuffed. She said there was already a lot of people there. And she testified that there was a spit hood and that your brother had been pepper sprayed. And as you say, that's, quote, a triple threat, that you wouldn't normally do that because of the if you have pepper spray without being washed, a spit hood, and you're face down, you can drown in your vomit or you can be asphyxiated, right?
Exactly, Evan. And these are the words from Rosal. She called it a triple threat herself. And she's admitting that they made mistakes and this was gross incompetence. This is coming from her, not from my family. And she was fired, right? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And she's furious about that. She believes she was a scapegoat for telling the truth about this. But you have no justice. You still don't know. Nobody's been, outside of her being fired and the other manager, has there been anyone charged with anything with your brother?
No, Evan. No one has been charged to this day. It's as if Soli's life did not matter and that his life was worth cheap. And, and what makes this extremely difficult is that this could happen to someone else again, Evan. And they're not being held accountable for their actions. This is what's tragic out of all this.
What would you like to see happen now, sir?
Evan, just as you know, for the last 4 years, we will continue to fight, but we want criminal charges against the guards who killed Soleiman Faqiri. We want accountability and transparency for the death of a Canadian man who lost his life in the very institution that was supposed to take care of him. And as you know, sir, we will not stop until we achieve that, Evan, because in order to achieve that, we'll save another Canadian's life.
You've been a tireless advocate, and you and I have been speaking for 4 years since your brother was killed. And I can't believe you still have no justice. I know how this is hurting your family and how strong you've been. And you kept me in touch on this. We continue to try to shed light on this. But it's you and your family who are fighting and shedding light on many other things. And Yusuf Faqiri, it's a difficult time for everybody. It's been more difficult for 4 years for your family. Our heart goes out to you, and I appreciate always welcoming you on the program as your long search for justice continues, and we're always here to help. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Evan. We'll continue to fight, sir, and thank you for everything, sir.
No, you too, Yusuf Faqiri. Again, I think we got to hear these stories, and I think you have to hear these, because as Yusuf Faqiri says, this is our system. Someone dies in prison, and someone's killed, and there's no justice, no accountability. The family's at a loss.